Good evening and welcome to the hashtag. It's been an injury-riddled week in the AFL. Hawthorn captain Luke Hodge may miss out on playing for the rest of the season because of a knee injury which may require total reconstruction. Meanwhile, Richmond captain Chris Newman may miss out on playing in the finals because his team are terrible and are unlikely to make it to the finals in the first place. Luke Hodge has spoken out about his injury, saying that he really doesn't want the surgery because a knee reconstruction would mean missing the rest of the season for sure. And that's interesting, because I always thought it was the injury that meant you would miss the rest of the season, and the surgery that you need was what actually gave you a fighting chance in hell of ever playing the sport that you love ever again. But I'm no doctor. Remember that controversy a couple of weeks ago when two players got into a fight on the footy field? One of them had their ankle broken in the fight, and the umpire awarded the free kick against him. And it was ridiculous. People hated it, and I agree. And that sort of thing's happening all over the place. I went up to a guy in the street, right, punched him in the face. I broke every bone in my hand, and the police had the nerve to arrest me! What is the world coming to? Maybe it's just me, but I don't think footballers are as tough as they used to be. It used to be the toughness of our game that set it aside from all the others. Back in the days when you could knock another player out cold with a well-placed hip and shoulder, deliberately, during a grand final, the umpire would shrug and say it happens, and the other player would eventually get back up and say, "Oh, jolly good bump English, you got me a beauty. What do you say we put it behind us immediately and get on with the friggin' game, yes?" Now that's toughness. These days the players are so tough they spend most of their weekends beating up women, and on the field they're suddenly finding themselves becoming injured by the wrong sort of grass. When did that start to happen? 15 years ago they released a TV show called Bumps, Biffs and Brawlers, dedicated to the big hits in our game. These days, if you accidentally sweat on someone too much, you're lucky not to be suspended. And God help you if you ever seen grabbing somebody by the jumper, immediate free kick, whatever that rule is. Maybe all these big tough AFL footballers are scared of doing some damage to their brand new delicate silk and lycra skin-tight Guernseys. Which is fair enough, because the designers have spent weeks and weeks trying to come up with a brand new design for the yellow and black Richmond jumper so that it no longer clashes with the Sydney jumper, which is red and white. And good on them, because that's a problem that I've been struggling with for years, telling those teams apart. Let's face it, the jumpers have been in existence since the 1800s, the oldies never had any difficulties telling them apart, and they didn't even have colour TV. So why has it suddenly become an issue? Kindly stop pouring my taxpayers' money down the drain trying to fix what isn't broken. Thank you very much. Imagine watching footy on TV in those days. Everything was black and white. Oh, well, I guess something's never changed. I think the issue is that people just don't know what the rules are anymore. They keep changing stuff to try and make it more consistent, but any attempt just seems to make things more confusing. My solution? We shall refer to the original text, the AFL rulebook. Now I warn you, this is very complex. The dropping the ball free kick should be awarded against a player who drops the ball while being tackled. The pushing the back free kick should be awarded against a player who, get this, pushes somebody else in the back. The 50-metre penalty should be awarded against Brendan Favola. The deliberate out-of-bounds free kick should be awarded against a player who puts the ball out of bounds deliberately. Irrespective of their acting ability, for the love of God, if they put it out of bounds deliberately, regardless of distance, technique or facial expression, Jesus Christ, if they put it out of bounds deliberately, then that is what they are doing, so award the free kick, shut up and get over it. And if you do get injured in the course of the game, then maybe you should consider that you have chosen to play a high-contact sport with frequent high-intensity tackling in which participants are at high risk of being kneecapped, whiplashed or kicked in the face. Take some responsibility for your decision to play the sport, and if you can't handle a bit of toughness, then maybe you should hand in your shiny, silken, and thanks to the designer's very distinguishable footy jumper and play chess instead. Just remember to warm up your hands and fingers, you don't want to end up pulling a muscle there either. My name's Ashley McPherson. Cheerio, we're from Tigerland. What? They won this week.